Yeah, I was quite an accomplished spy in the CIA. I spent 15 years in the CIA. The first half of my career was in analysis, and I got bored, frankly. And so I made an unusual, at the time, change to counterterrorism operations. And then I was the chief of CIA counterterrorism operations in Pakistan after the 9/11 attacks.
And if I'd never heard about the CIA before, and I had never heard about your role in the CIA before, and I was a 16-year-old.
Right.
How would you explain to me what you did there, what your role was, and what the CIA is?
Sure. The CIA is an intelligence service whose job it is, at its most basic level, to recruit spies to steal secrets and to analyze those secrets so that the policymakers can make the best informed policy. After 9/11, we were expecting an attack, to use Osama bin Laden's words, that would dwarf 9/11. And so my job was to infiltrate Al-Qaeda by recruiting members of Al-Qaeda to tell us when and where that next attack was going to come so that we could disrupt it, we could kill or capture the leadership, and destroy the organization.
And give me a range of the things that you did during your time in the CIA, just for a very top-line range of the types of things you worked on.
Oh, sure. As an analyst, it was actually quite straightforward. We would write for the president, the vice president, the secretaries of state and defense, and the national security advisor.
And who were the presidents during that time?
When I started, it was George H.W. Bush, the father. And then it was Bill Clinton, then George W. Bush. There are several different publications. There's the President's Daily Brief, which is the most important. I covered Iraq the entire time that I was in analysis, from well before most Americans had ever heard of Iraq. I was told actually that it was a training account because nothing ever happened there, nothing ever changed, and then Iraq invaded Kuwait. The next day, I got to the office early. I was 25 years old, 26 years old, and my boss said, "Don't take your jacket off. We're going to the White House." I had never been to the White House before, except as a tourist. And so we got in a car, went to the White House, were ushered into the Oval Office. It's the president, the vice president, the national security advisor, the director of the CIA, my boss, and me. And then we all sit down. The president tells us, sit down. We sit down and the president says, "Well, now what do we do?" And everybody turns and looks at me. And it took me a second. And I said, yes. I said, "Mr. President, as you know, Iraqi troops crossed the border at 2:00 this morning. The royal family has run away to Saudi Arabia. They've named a new occupation governor, et cetera, et cetera. Do we know who that is?" I said, "Yes, sir." I gave him the name. And I said, "Actually, he's the co-founder of the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine." The vice president shouts, "Jesus Christ!" And then the president says, "Gentlemen, thank you. Thank you. We'll take it from here." And I remember saying to myself, my friends would never believe in 1,000 years what I was doing right now. They wouldn't even believe me if I told them. That's what an analyst does. When I switched to operations, again, the job was very straightforward. It was to recruit spies to steal secrets. But then if you're involved in counterterrorism operations, there are a lot of extras that you have to be trained in. So you go through the normal spy training. This is how you ingratiate yourself. It's something called the asset acquisition cycle. Spot, assess, develop, recruit.